What's up, gamers? It's your host, Cobra, and today is our October update. So this month I've decided to change up the format, and instead of talking just about which projects had big gains and made us money, we're going to take a look at the entire portfolio in a spreadsheet, and each month I'm going to update the overall portfolio collection for each project or game, and we'll take a look at my current cost basis, the overall value, and then any significant change up or down since last month. And then I'm going to spend 30 to 60 seconds on each one talking about what impacted that price, if anything, and certainly any notable moves or sales or purchases that we made specifically. And each one will be a very brief update, and when it's warranted, I will have a separate video for each individual project talking about what has happened or what is coming up. So let's jump right in and take a look at the overall portfolio really quickly. The thing that I want to call out is twofold. Number one, all the prices are listed in Ethereum unless otherwise noted, and there's several of these projects that live on a layer 2 sidechain like Polygon or Immutable X. And because of that, they have not been negatively impacted by the rising cost of gas fees that we see on Ethereum mainnet these days. So projects like Chicken Derby, Riot Racers, Guild of Guardians, they all have gasless transactions, which means that when we see these huge spikes in gas costs like we have over the last several weeks, that's not eating into the value of your NFTs. First, let's jump into Guild of Guardians, one of my favorite projects. Those prices have stayed relatively flat, and this is a big benefit of being on Immutable X. I mentioned that they don't have to deal with these gas costs. That would be a real nightmare for a lot of the lower priced items like epic heroes, and after wave 3 comes, we're going to see rare heroes and pets, which will also be on the lower price point, and they would have almost no value right now on mainnet because of gas costs. But on Immutable X, you can still buy and sell at reasonable prices without having to deal with crazy gas. The other cool thing that is coming up besides the wave 3 sale, which we don't have a date on and is going to be dropped likely sometime in the next week or two, I'm expecting sooner rather than later, is towards the middle of the month they are going to launch their token. Now, unfortunately, we're US based. I can't take place in that ICO, but that's another great step towards making this project complete. Next up is Zed Run, and Zed Run has actually been on a slow decline. However, I decided to purchase another Genesis horse. It is a Z10 filly in Electric Violet. It had already run its Griffin race, so it is my first raced Genesis horse. I did that because I want to race more, and I need to find a couple of Genesis winners to build around to help improve the stock of my offspring. However, I also believe that there are lots of changes coming to the game that are going to improve things and make breeding profitable and fun again. The couple of things that we need to see most desperately is an update to the class system. Today it is way too easy for the best horses to just continue to beat up on everybody else instead of being forced to race against each other, and that's a big problem. The other thing is we still really need more race types and more race conditions to impact the outcome. Because all of these updates are going to come in the future, some sooner than later, I really don't think it's proper to classify any horse as a loser yet. That said, there's still risk in racing your horses, especially in the current environment. Axie Infinity, I honestly didn't play at all in October. We have paused breeding for right now. I still own 6 different Axies and have some Ethereum in that wallet. However, breeding hasn't been profitable for a while. It's not a game that I can play regularly because it isn't on iOS just yet, and the oversaturation of Axies has led to a big price crash. However, they recently introduced the Ronin desks, which eliminates most of the fees involved in playing Axie Infinity, which greatly improves things. We have seen the price of SLP shoot up at least a little bit because of this. We also now have staking with AXS and SLP so that you can earn RON, which is an interesting opportunity as well. Battles V2 are still on the horizon, and this is another project where they're in a bit of a dip and a bit of a lull, but I expect better days. So we're holding on to what we have, and we may invite some scholars to play with the Axies that I currently have, just so that we can start getting some value out of them in the meantime. Now, we haven't talked about Chicken Derby in a while, and I gotta say, I am really impressed that the prices of chickens have held up so well. Compared to some other projects, Chicken Derby has a big supply of chickens out there today, and there hasn't been a ton of action in the marketplace, either positive or negative, simply because right now we are waiting for the game to be developed. However, we're getting regular updates from the team every week, and it appears to me that they're getting closer and closer to having closed beta start. Now, we are lucky enough to have been early and signed up for that closed beta, so we're going to be able to cover that on the channel once it does open up, and I'm guessing we're going to see that sometime this year. It would be fantastic if it happened in November, probably more likely in December, but either way, we're getting very close to actually getting a racing game with Chicken Derby. Next is our biggest investment so far, or rather our biggest value so far, and that is Frontier. Now, we are totally free rolling on this game because we sold some black boxes, frankly, too early, but that has taken away the stress and made it a lot easier for us to hold on to everything else that we still have. October was a massive month for this project. We saw lots of different events, culminating with Genesis Week and opening up our black boxes. Next, we're expecting a bunch of news. I'm also expecting that soon we're going to be able to burn our data key and Lucky Watcher to get a stellar data key. Last on the Ethereum side is Riot Racers, and this has been one of the more interesting ones because certain NFTs that they have sold have done very well. Like, for example, if you've got a lower tier car, you can easily sell it for many multiples of what you purchased it at during the drop. However, if you purchased a higher end car or, say, racetrack plots, those haven't really appreciated at all yet. However, we saw some really big updates this past week that are going to change that, in my opinion. We got an update on the Riot Owners Club, which we will be talking about in a separate video. They also announced that they're going to be dropping drivers. Everybody that holds a Genesis car today is going to get a driver for free airdrop to them, and then they're going to sell about 8,000 more of them. We don't have the details for that just yet, but we're going to be getting it very soon, and my very next video will be a detailed deep dive on all of the news with Riot Racers. Up next is the only project we're tracking on the Solana blockchain so far today, and that is Star Atlas. Now, admittedly, my investments into Star Atlas so far have been relatively small, and there hasn't been a whole lot of appreciation yet. However, this is because they're doing a very slow rollout of the ships, and I'm holding back some ammo to purchase more ships that I am more excited about. Later this week, we are going to get the Bounty Hunter. It's a $1,200 ship that I am absolutely purchasing. This is the one that I have been waiting for. I am a big Star Wars fan. Boba Fett is my favorite, and I have to have the Bounty Hunter, so we're going to be picking that up this week. And wrapping things up is Bunny Nights. Bunny Nights is the only project that we're following on the Tezos blockchain, and it's one that I am really excited about. We currently own two soon-to-be uncommon bunnies, and we own 25% of one of the legendary bunnies with a few of my friends. They announced recently, after a vote from the OG holders, that we're going to do a 2,000 bunny expansion. Now that's going to be coming in a couple of months, I expect. And this is really going to lower the floor. It's going to create a new tier of common, and it's going to create opportunities for everybody else to get in. Today, getting a floor bunny is almost a $2,000 purchase, and that's prohibitive for most players. So this expansion is going to give everybody an opportunity to get their hands on at least one bunny for a relatively cheap price, which sets the stage for us to actually have a successful game with lots of users. And that wraps up our October update. As you saw, the overall market is down a little bit and our portfolio is down a little bit as well. However, we continue to accumulate assets and build value for the future, which I am still very excited about. If you haven't already, make sure you're following us on Twitter. Make sure you also hit that like and subscribe button to support the channel, and we'll be back at you with a Riot Racers update soon.